Hello, hello, hello. We are making a video. The baby dog and I. He was just outside and now he is kind of bored. I want him to come on the bed, but he doesn't want to, so then I have to let him do what he wants to do. Oh, look at that blue light on my lips. This blue shit. That is, look at that blue light there. Here, put it on my eye. There. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. These are X-ray eyes. There. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. So, here's my blue god. Blue god with t-shirt paint. So, I want to talk about, it's called today, I want to talk about plant medicine. And I feel such deepest infinite gratitude towards all plants on earth and beyond. I love you all plants, all of you. I love you all beings, all the more complex beings too. The sea cucumber, like sea cucumber is like a hybrid between plant and starfish or other sea creature. So those are amazing, amazing, amazing beings. The sea cucumbers. They have a nervous system. So they already have a nervous system. And that's why they're popular in science. Scientists like to do tests with them because, and I'm against all of that. I don't see that it's necessary to do tests with sea cucumbers. No, that's not good. They feel something, so believe it or not, plants feel something too. So all beings feel something. Ants too. Cells feel something. So there's a lot of cells in plants and they feel something. It's all life. All of it. But obviously we have to draw the line somewhere, and I guess the sea cucumber is about that, somewhere around that threshold, right? Between plant and animal. So I would not eat a sea cucumber. So there's food going in and the poop going out, and that is already an animal. Okay, so but other than that, they don't move, the sea cucumbers. They just let the ocean waves wash them around and into tide pools, and they enjoy that when they're in a tide pool and the sun is shining on that and making the water warm. I think they really like that. But they're not a plant anymore, but they are not really a complete animal either anymore. I mean, not an animal in the sense of mobility and making any decisions, but they feel things, and I think they are hermaphrodites. I'm not 100% sure, because I don't think they mate. I think they just grow, and at some point they probably they lay some kind of sedimentation, and then another one grows out of that. Something like would be interesting. I think I'm gonna watch a documentary film on sea cucumbers when I come back to the other house. So, and I'm in awe with all of these beings, with all of them, and I'm just so infinitely grateful for this planet Earth, what Mother Earth is giving us, all the medicines that we need, all the medicines that you can possibly imagine, they're all here, okay? It's all there. Anything you can imagine, beyond your wildest imaginations, everything is there, and it is beautiful, and it is smooth, and it is safe, and it is holistic, and it's in favor of your body, in favor of your liver. It is healing, and it is empowering, and it feels good. And there is a plan for literally everything. Okay. For any kind of health issue you can possibly think of, there is a plant and a mushroom out there. Okay, so, and mushrooms, those are not plants either. They're not animals either. They're not even hybrids. That's a completely different life form. That's the life form of fungi, and they are very ancient too. They are very, very ancient. They have evolved, I don't know, maybe 3 billion, maybe even 4 billion years ago already. They have evolved among the very first organisms on planet Earth, and obviously have evolved and evolved and evolved into many, many, many different types of fungi and mushrooms, all kinds of things. And they consist of cells, of course. And it's very fascinating. Very, very fascinating. I heard that there are mushrooms inside of the earth. Like, the earth has caverns. The earth is full of open spaces inside of the earth. Many, many, many caves and caverns and tunnels and corridors that have actually naturally formed on Earth because of volcano eruptions, and that were leaving entire internal canals and aqueducts and caverns and corridors behind. And then later on, when beings evolved, there were hominid beings before us. When the first hominid beings evolved, they, of course, used these caverns inside of the earth and made that their safe living quarters. and they're safe havens, they're safe refuge places where they could even stay indefinitely, no matter what was going on Earth, on the Earth's surface. So it's very interesting. We only hear a fraction about evolution, a fraction about history of biology, history of organisms and beings. Most people know only a fraction of it, but people will find out. They find out more and more and more because they make more and more discoveries, and sometimes they come across things that make no sense to them according to the knowledge that they currently have. And most scientists are rigid-minded, and they have identified themselves with certain beliefs, and they don't want those beliefs to be questioned, so they will just completely abandon a discovery that they made, which the discovery would possibly threaten their current belief system, so they just abandon it. That's one way of dealing with it. That's one way of dealing with science in quotation marks. Real science, that's not in quotation marks, will be very, very interested. A real scientist, a real honest scientist will be very intrigued when they find out something that kind of contradicts what they have already known, or it contradicts something in one specific area of knowledge base. Okay, so they will dig further. They will not stop. They will find out. They will be obsessed with curiosity, and they want to know. They want to find out, and that's the proper way of living, to want to know truth. So, for example, a lot of people will say they don't read novels because they don't learn anything about reality. I have to disagree. It depends on the novel. It depends on the writer. Okay, so if you read a novel that is written by a religious person, then chances are very high that you probably don't learn anything about truth and reality. So, not only in regards to novels, but also in regards to science itself or anything, a writer that is religious will distort things in the way that their selfish ego wants to portray it to themselves and to others. Okay, so here, come on the bed. Come here. Come up. There you go. You did it. Yes, you did it. Oh, you did it. Yeah, yes. Yes, I have to put the sleeping bag on. It's what I have to do. Yes, that's what I have to do. You beautiful, you beautiful, cool. Yes. Okay, yeah. Yes. Put that on. Okay. Ah, yeah. Put that on. And also over the ears. So, it's always good to put that over those ears, because the ears, they get cold. Yes, we have to put sleeping bag on the ears, you beautiful thing, you. Yes, that is what you are. My beautiful, beautiful, beautiful baby. Yes, a beautiful babe. That is what you are. Yes, a beautiful, a beautiful being. Okay. I have La Vie est Belle on my arm, and it smells so good. So, okay. Okay, yeah. Like this then. Okay. Okay. It smells good. 7. It's pure heaven. So, yeah. So it really depends on the writer. It doesn't have anything really to do that much with novel versus fairy tale versus anecdote versus telltale versus actual history, fact versus science. So people who want to distort things, they will distort also actual historical events, or so-called actual historical accounts that had been made about something that has happened. So much is being distorted all the time. So I am interested in those writers, well, whatever background they come from, science or literature, poetry, philosophy, as long as they are looking for the truth, then that is what I'm interested in. That's what interests me. So right now I'm, as I already said, I'm reading Dostoevsky, and this is a fairy tale that I'm reading right now, the brothers Karamazov, and I don't know if I pronounce this right, Karamazov. And I am amazed about the writing, I'm amazed about the observations, I'm amazed about the nuanced way of looking at people. I'm amazed about the message that's behind it. It's a love message, and that's always what I'm looking for. Love is always truth. It's not a biased view. And every fairy tale that people write has more or less elements of something they have observed in their own lives, obviously. Some people will just take a person they have known and put that character into a fairy tale, give it a different name, and maybe create a more phantasmagorical story around it. But the person, the character, is real, okay, and that has existed or still exists. And sometimes people do that in order to write things down that they would like to share in a confession booth or in a therapy or in a group session, okay, which everyone should have. Everyone has that need to purge themselves of something that has been bugging them about their lives or about other people or society. So a lot of writers like Dostoevsky and Nietzsche, they will use that as an opportunity to spill it all out, all of the stuff that has been bothering them about society, and to open people's eyes and to show people, look, it's actually much more nuanced. It is so nuanced. It is so in such a nuanced scale of gray shades and color differences and color shades, not all gray, of course. So you have anything, any shade of color and gray and light and dark. And there is no the absolute this or the absolute that. That's why Friedrich Nietzsche wrote an entire book about that, about beyond good and evil. Okay, so Jiddu Krishnamurti and David Bohm talked about this for 60 years. That there aren't any opposites in the field of truth, because all opposites include each other, because everything is a melange of nuances and gradients. Everything is just it's a continuation. It's an indefinite, endless, infinite continuation on anything in any area, in any space, wherever you look. It is existence that is flowing, that is in a constant movement and constant flowing, and you cannot put anything into a box or into a linear form or into a finality. You cannot, in all seriousness, attempt to say this ends here and this begins here, exactly here at this point. Okay, these are all approximations, and an approximation is a very consciously knowing attempt to just put an approximate knowing about the proximity of it, knowing that this is just an approximate category. Okay, this is just an approximate title for this or that. This is just an approximation of this is the land space here. You can argue indefinitely about where the border of this property ends and the other one begins. If you wanted to go into micrometers and whatever, so we just know it is approximately over there where the fence is, and that's approximately over there where we planted a hedge. So, and then the other person might be greedy and secretly set the fence over onto your side and cut way into the hedge, which we have encountered too many times, okay? And arguments and all of that. And tears also, because it's just unfathomable for me how some people can be so greedy that they want a millimeter more on their property, and encroach a millimeter more onto the other person's property. It's ridiculous to me to see something like this. So many fights have been fought for property rights and boundaries, and that's why surveyors have to come and they have to remeasure everything because people are so greedy. It's incredible, all of this. So I'm glad it's getting warm in here now. This is very nice. I do this here to soothe myself. We have to do a lot of self-soothing in our lives. I think this is very important that we do self-soothing. Self-soothing. You need to love all of your fat under the chin. You need to love your fat cells. They're very important. This is homework I'm giving to people, because I see people don't do that. They want to cut this all out or have it vacuumed out, sucked out, suck out the lipid cells, like with these horrible sounds of sucking that out, and then while you're under anesthesia, and then the nurses, they are making fun of that and spraying that stuff on the wall. And so it's all I'm not joking, this is happening. I've seen documentary. I was appalled. It was, I mean, it's worse than the worst horror movie, actually. What's going on there, out there in reality. I don't even think anyone can come up with the horror stuff that's actually happening in the world. Because humans are insane. They are. They are absolutely insane. And they hate that. They hate themselves, and that's just infinitely sad for me to see that. And they let someone in Hollywood, some underground demon person, tell them that they need to hate their double chin, and they need to be skin and bones, and they need to lose more weight. The story, oh gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, it's just so awful. The worst case is Brittany Murphy. That's the saddest story in Hollywood that I've ever heard. And this monster, psychopath mother of hers. And then she sticks to this mother anyway, no matter what. And she feeds the mother and she gives her everything. And the mother kills her and takes everything. Takes her husband, takes her house, takes the money, everything. And then she kills the husband too, but he deserves it because he was complicit. He was an accomplice with the murder of Brittany Murphy. So he kind of asked for it. But the mother, I mean, what do we do with someone like that? What do you do with someone like that? That mother. I don't know if she's even still alive now. She must be old, but I don't know, 80 or something. But still, I mean, do you wish her a peaceful retirement? Does she deserve a peaceful retirement? That's the question. All of these things are going through my mind all the time. 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 I have bad thoughts sometimes. I have terrible thoughts. Some thoughts come from demons, actually, that have nothing to do with me. And that's always the demons knocking on the door. They want to show me how bad they feel. They want someone to understand them. And they don't need to knock on the door anymore. I already understand them. I already understand all of this. But a lot of these thoughts are coming from my own anger, my past trauma, my Medusa that I have inside of me. I have a bodyguard, a monster inside of me that is very, very fierce. You don't want to mess with that monster. That's very fierce. When the Medusa sees injustice, she will come up. Okay. And she will create bad thoughts. Bad. I'm not going to get into the details of it now. It gets negative, but I understand the Medusa. So I'm not fighting the Medusa. I'm not very good in fighting anything, really. Particularly not emotions. So when I get mad in a public place, I will call people out. I will cry. I might scream. But I will not attack someone. I will not go on someone's throat. I will not hit someone. Although I have been close many times. Also with my grandfather in Germany and in LA and with Paul. Very close. Very, very close. There were a couple of times where I actually punched him. Not really hard, but I mean, he was agitating me so much that it was just too much. It was too much to bear. So he really knows his craft on how to go on people's nerves. He does. So easy. Okay. Yeah. Chicken. Oh yeah. This is so good. Oh yeah. But I love him. I care about him. Okay. So that is the most important thing there is. Okay. And I know that I have to work on my anger issues. But at least I work on it very consciously, and I want to this is already going on the nerve scale again. What's going on there? I can't show this. But but I'm not gonna let that or anything draw me out of my balance right now, because I had some bad thoughts earlier as I was lying down here, because I was so cold, and when I get cold I get mad. I get very mad when I get cold. So And then I had some bad thoughts against the guy that's running that one animal shelter. The guy that did not let the dog go home with us. The dog that was the most traumatized of all. And that's why I felt so sorry for that dog. And that guy didn't want the dog to come with us, even though we could have saved his life, we could have healed him, everything. No, he didn't want that because the guy didn't like us. Why? Because we're animal rights activists. That goes against his religion and his ego and all of that. So for that, the dog had to suffer and was probably put down. And I don't take very lightly to something like this, not at all. When I see something like this happening, oh boy, the Medusa comes out in all of her colors. Okay, so let's leave it at that now. Let's not get into the nitty-gritty of the details. But then I got warmer and the thoughts got warmer. And then I put more La Vie est Belle on my arm. Yeah, and then life is suddenly more belle than horror. Okay, so, and then things are good again. And then I can finally open the computer up after 2 hours of lying here and thinking and thinking and thinking negative thoughts. Then I can finally say, now I think I'm ready to make a video now. So, because, and I'm not making this video deliberately where I have to restrain myself or something. I'm not good at restraining myself. I'm not good at lying. I'm not good at pretending. I'm not good at creating just a positive vibe because we always want to be positive, right? No, obviously not. So I flow with this, with the thoughts. But when I'm in really negative thoughts, then I know it's probably not a good idea to start the video recording. So that far I know, okay? Because also I don't want to, it's kind of like if I then start to get into this whining and complaining mode and all of that, and feeling wronged and all of that, particularly when it's against my own ego, then it's an act out, and then it's not flowing with the actual emotion, with the actual feeling. So I'm not showing you. I'll show the baby dog. Yeah, that is so much better to show the baby dog. Oh yes, the baby dog's relaxed now. Yes, that's very nice. Oh yeah. And so then, yes, so we got the baby dog from another animal shelter, a much better one. So, and that lady, I didn't have to show any photos of our house. I didn't have to argue and plead and lick their shoe soles or something. No, with her, she saw I care, we care. Later on, she found out that we are Trump supporters, and so then she didn't like us anymore. Okay, but so I'm glad that when we met her, that the main focus was on compassion, and she saw that we have compassion. So and I am grateful for her for that. To see see that we have compassion, and that see that we are good animal and dog parents. Okay, that's what matters here, not the politics and all of that. I met a woman on the internet a long time ago who, I'm not going to mention names, it's just sad, okay, that it's a good person. She rescues dogs, but boy, if someone is not on her page politically, she gets all mad, and she doesn't even want to talk to that person anymore. And I mean, what does that have to do with anything? Okay. And then how brainwashed is that also? How brainwashed are these people? So, and this is all, these are legitimate questions. But I don't want to be, I don't want to make my videos in a way where I'm in a mental state of stuck in self-pity or something. It's okay to have self-pity. But if you dwell on it in videos, then it becomes an act out. And when it becomes an act out, psychological act out, then you are not flowing with the emotion. You're running away from it. That's what happens when you're acting out, or when you up-react, when you're hysterical or something, or angry, or you become hysterically religious, or this or whatever, any kind of hyper hysterical mental state of hypochondriacism, which Paul has. He's a hypochondriac. and like self-pity dwelling and that kind of stuff. Then it's an act out. Okay, then you're not flowing with the actual feeling that is underneath. So, and that's what I want to get to, because that is my therapy approach. I learned that from Dr. Arthur Janov. I learned many precious years, precious core insights into psychology that no university, no school could have taught me. Okay, and I knew this already. I knew this when I was studying psychology at the universities in Germany, and in two different places, two different universities. And I knew that it wasn't going anywhere. This what was coming out of it. Just some real ridiculous, stupid education material. Like Albert Banduras, for example. I mean, how much more dumb does it get? Okay, it can almost not get any dumber than that. Or Skinner and Watson, and what are all of those names? So incredibly awful. Erik Erikson, all of these the behavioristic ones, and it's just awful sad to see. It's really, really sad to see. I'm not showing you. But they didn't know better, these people. They obviously didn't know better. Or the worst ones, or the absolute worst, psychologist was Harry Harlow. Okay, no, it doesn't get any worse than that. And I believe he was from the United States. Harry Harlow is like, that takes the cake. I mean, that's hell. That's total hell. So, what do we learn from those people? We learned that we not only didn't learn anything, we learned that that is like a trajectory you do not want to go on. Okay? That's what we learned from that. So, in primatherapy, what I learned there is the truth is your light. Okay? Whatever you feel at any given moment, you can, no matter how much you're kidding yourself. You're in a board meeting with your CEO, and or you're another CEO and you want to do a merger and the other guy is blabbing BS, and his corporation is based on unethical conduct, and who knows, he might even eat children's soup, and you suppress your feelings that are the true feelings in order to get the merger signed. Now, that's what we want to avoid, okay, in existence. We want to face our true feelings. Okay, if you have a true feeling that says eating children's soup is really, really hellish, it's really bad, these poor children, right? Now let's look at the whole picture here, which most people are not willing to do. It's equally bad to eat pigs, just as bad as eating children. It's the truth, it's a fact. If you eat a suckling piglet, then you are a cannibal. Just as much as whatever these people are, they use face masks to disguise themselves in the underground where they're being served human meat. Okay, this stuff is happening. I'm not making this up. It's not a conspiracy theory. This is happening. It's happening on a massive scale, actually. Massive scale. Okay. These people are out there, and some of them are actually known. And it's the known ones that put face mask on, like an actual theater mask they put on over their face, where only the iris is shown, so they can see, right? And then they lift the mask underneath up a little bit in order to slurp up the human meat. So just to make sure that they're not as worried about the other people that slurp up meat, but they're worried about the bodyguards that are standing around, which are not wearing face masks, because they don't need to. They have nothing to hide. But they don't want the bodyguards to see who they are. What if it's someone you've always adored your entire life, right? And then you see, oops, that person is actually a human meat slurping cannibal. Okay, it's not good. Okay? But killing suckling baby pigs is equally bad. It's every single bit as bad. But that's what most people seem to not understand quite well. I see it. I mean, most people are in some kind of, they're like in some kind of cognitive fog or cognitive disconnect with this. It is equally bad to eat any animal, particularly those that are as sentient as humans. Pigs, dogs, cows. deer, particularly those, but also eating any animal is absolutely horrifically wrong. But particularly the ones that are they're just like you in their sentience. Okay, so there's no difference between a suckling pig and a newborn human baby. Okay? There's no difference in terms of sentience, in terms of innocence, in terms of playfulness, in terms of humor, in terms of needing the mother. There's no difference at all. If you hurt a baby, any baby, pig or human or dog, then you know that there is something really, really badly wrong with your brain if you do that. And that's a fact. And it's not funny, this is not a joke, this is not political. This has nothing to do with one side against another. This has simply to do with, this is a matter of conduct. And we need to keep in mind that truth is love and love is truth. And eating another living being is not love and it's not truth. That's not the life you should live. And that's a fact. Okay. And if you listened to your inner child and your cells, they would tell you that. They would tell you this is really wrong. Your gut is telling you that. That's where the terminology comes from. My gut instinct. My guts have a form of intelligence. My guts are telling me what I can eat and what I can't eat. My guts suffer if I eat a turkey hot dog, for example. Particularly if I eat turkey hot dogs every day for a week. Yeah. That would be very problematic. Also my liver, everything would really suffer from that. So my skin would break out and it'd be awful. And you don't even know what's in a turkey hot dog. There could be anything in a turkey hot dog. How do you know? Unless you bring that to some kind of scientific laboratory and have an analysis done on the DNA that's in it. Oh my goodness. You might be surprised what kind of DNA is found in that. Anything from tapeworm DNA to Ellen DeGeneres. I'm not making jokes about Ellen DeGeneres. It's just something that I heard on the internet that and this is completely wrong because now I know why they made these jokes about her with the in vitro meat. Because they have been trying to slander her for decades already. Why? Because she's an animal rights activist. She cares. Okay, so and then who knows? So maybe she has given people a biopsy or something in order to make a burger out of it, in order to save the animals from having to be slaughtered, right? She would do that. She would do that. So instead of making fun of it, we should look at it from another perspective and see, oh, why would she do it if this is even true, right? She does it because she doesn't want the pigs to be slaughtered, or the cows, or any Okay, she wants you to grow in vitro meat so that and she'll donate her own meat for that to be grown in the lab so that the animals don't have to suffer. Oh, they have been slandering her for decades. They have been viciously going after this wonderful, generous, kind-hearted woman, this sweet jester who's just trying to make the world feel just a little bit better when they come home from hard work and they turn on the TV, right? But what do people do? I mean, then they'll go after someone like that, someone kind. It's sad. It's all real sad. But she also has a lot of people that love her, of course. There's a lot of good people too in the world. I have to keep reminding myself there's a lot of good people too. But anyway, I want to emphasize how amazing the plants are on this planet. Just incredibly amazing. There are phytochemicals, like plant chemicals, in the plants, alkaloids and amino acids and minerals and all kinds of combinations, all kinds of sedatives and pain medicine and healing stuff that will heal any illness there is on this planet, even modern illnesses that were not even around a long time ago, hundreds of years ago. Right? And the plants were already there. They're already there, knowing that one day they'll be curing a future disease that doesn't even exist yet. For example, the C word, cancer, didn't even exist 100 years ago. Believe it or not, did not even exist. Not to that degree. I mean, it was extremely rare. 100 years ago, 150 years ago. They didn't have that. You read Nietzsche and Dostoevsky, they never talk about cancer. Okay. They didn't even know about it. It was unheard of. It was something that absolutely almost never occurred. So why do we have it, like, to such a vast degree now? Because of pesticides. It's a fact. Okay, you will not hear this on the news. You will not hear this from Bayer. You will not hear this in medical school. But it's still a fact. Okay. Why do you not hear it from those? Because they are paid by the pharmaceutical industries. Okay. And the pharmaceutical industries, the chemical labs, those are the ones that also create chemicals that make people sick, like pesticides. And they create those not even mainly for the purpose of being a pesticide, but that's more like an official version of it. They're creating that to make people sick so that people will have open heart surgery and they will have chemotherapy and all of that. Because it's a multi-trillion-dollar business. It's an industry to mooch off sick people. Okay, it's a fact what I'm saying here. It is a fact. So if you want to get well, you need to put all the pesticides that you have in your house into a cardboard box, tape it closed, write on the outside with a marker, hazardous waste, and you bring that to the next possible place, hazardous waste disposal management place. Whenever they have an opening where people can come and bring the stuff to, they're not open every day, but find out on the internet where the next one is and when they have an opening where you can go and bring your stuff. And then you bring that box there and you leave it there. And they will put it in, hopefully, into a safe disposal bin or space. Okay. Whatever they do with it, they put it in a shipment container or whatever, and seal it closed. I don't know how they deal with it, but that's like, we shouldn't even have all of that stuff in the first place. We shouldn't even have toxic stuff like pesticides and nuclear waste and all of that. Plutonium, strontium-90. We shouldn't even have these kind of things that have to be locked up into a safe container or something. That stuff should have never been made. This was absolutely wrong and unethical to create stuff like that. We want to bring the world back to a natural state. That doesn't mean you have to compromise your luxury. Not at all. Okay, not at all. We can reform everything into a natural, holistic life cycle, the way it is intended by nature, without giving up your luxury, without giving up all of your comfort and your showers and your heating systems and so on. But it can be transformed, all of that, into holistic heaters, holistic energy, solar panels, or geothermal, holistic methodology, okay, instead of the stuff that is totally unsustainable. You heal your body with plant medicine. The plant medicine, and don't isolate it. Rudolf Steiner talked about this in depth. Read Rudolf Steiner's books, please. He said it is absolutely wrong to chemically isolate a component from nature. But the reason why they're doing this, these connivers, is because when they isolate something, it's all about greed. When they isolate something, or they found out this is the main ingredient in, let's say, valerian root or something, or hops, that makes people sleepy, then they will isolate that, because then they can make that in a concentrated form, and they can then also, they can synthetically copy that isolate. And once they have successfully copied it, then they can, I guess that's when they copyright, when they patent this synthetic compound that mimics the isolate, okay, and then they have a very powerful drug, that doesn't just make you sleepy, but completely knocks you out. And the plant never intended for you to create an isolate from that component, and then knock you yourself out with it. There's enough plants already that will knock you out without creating an isolate. But that's another story. But the plant wants you to eat the entire plant substance. That's the key. Rudolf Steiner talks about this. The whole plant substance doesn't cause side effects, doesn't cause liver damage, doesn't even cause an addiction. The whole plant, and you don't want to eat that every single day, because as with everything in the world, you can't take that every single day, because then if you eat only one thing every single day, let's say if you eat even something very harmless, if you eat only bananas, like that lady on the internet, everything for the rest of your life, of course there'll be a lopsidedness happening at some point, right? Sooner or later there will be some kind of nutritional lopsidedness happening. So I personally, for example, as much as I want to be a vegan, okay, it is incredibly difficult for me as being mainly Northern European. So very, very difficult. I come from a lineage of total carnivores, and it's awful, and I don't want that. And I'll tell you something, if my body said you have to eat pigs or you die, I'll say, okay then, do away with me, please. I will go and I'll get the euthanasia drug right away. So what's the point to even hang out even longer, or let yourself get really sick or something? But lucky for us in the world, okay, that is not what's happening. It's actually reversed. Okay, if you eat pigs every day, you will die. You die a gruesome death, okay? You'll have open heart surgery. You will become what you eat. Metaphorically in this lifetime, and literally in the next one. So have a good ride for that, okay? So maybe there is karma, okay, whether you want to believe it or not. And yeah, I'm not a sacrosanct saint or whatever they call it. No, I have, by default, by lineage, by family, coercion, tradition, I have been fed pigs. And it's a horrible, horrible, horrible thing for me to think of, okay? So that went on for as long as I was ignorant, and then at some point it dawned on me that, gosh, okay, then I saw the slaughter videos, I saw all of it, and I mean, if you see documentary films like Earthling, for example, if you see those, there's no way you can continue to do this. There's no way. If you have any kind of amygdala, any kind of empathy in your brain, you cannot continue this. You cannot. There's no way. You cannot eat pigs and dogs. Okay, so those two species are exactly like us. Okay, you cannot. And not just because they're exactly like us. Because it's like seeing a child in human trafficking, in total fear and horror. Or the baby cows torn away from their mothers and the way they scream. Can you imagine if someone did that to a human? The pain, the agony. And this has happened in history. Okay? But it's equally bad for the cows and the baby cows. And the baby pigs and the mother pigs, it's equally bad for them. It's the truth, what I'm saying. So, the very first thing on the healing path, quit eating pig. Quit eating pork. Quit eating baby pigs and mother pigs and father pigs. Okay? Quit eating it. Completely. Quit eating ham. Okay? Quit it. And never call your pig ham. This is not funny. This is not cool. And don't call your little boy Ham either. Maybe Hamlet. Okay, that's as far as I allow it. So, or Hannibal. You can call your little child Hannibal or Hamlet. You can also call your pig baby boy Hamlet and Hannibal. So that doesn't mean they're cannibals. They're not cannibals just because their name is Hannibal. Just want to make that very crystal clear. So, but you're the real Hannibal Lecter cannibal if you eat ham. Okay, and that's the truth. I'm giving you the truth here. Or if you eat any being, dogs, cows, any being. That's cannibalistic, it's psychopathic, and it has to go. It's time now to let it go. Let it go from this planet. If we want to move in the direction where the ETs are, the evolved ETs, the type 1 civilizations. If we want to become, and the Blue God says 1111, it's the truth what I'm saying. So it's not a coincidence that this number is coming up. So you can turn the heater slightly down now, slightly down, but not all the way down, but a little bit down. So, thank you. So it's the truth what I'm saying. Okay, so quit eating pigs right now. So that has to be completely crystal clear, and not for religious reasons. Not because it's your religion. If it's already your religion, yeah, that's not even an effort, right? You're already not doing it. So that is about the only thing I agree with Islam. The only thing. So, but they don't do it for ethical reasons. They do it for some real stupid reasons. Some real retarded religious reasons. But whatever causes you to not eat pigs, thank goodness. Oh, thank goodness. Okay? But you need to not eat that other being because of compassion and not because of religion. Religion is not compassion. Religion is brainwash and groupthink. That's not compassion. You need to do this out of compassion. You need to quit eating meat out of compassion. The first thing you quit is the pig. So, never ever give this industry another penny. They suffer horrifically. The mothers and gestation crates, they can't even turn around themselves. It's unimaginable torture. They did not even torture anyone or anything in history like that. No Holocaust can even compete with the horror of a factory farm. This is the truth, what I'm saying. So quit eating pig. Save all the pigs. Let the pigs free. And don't hunt them either. That's why I had to block Alex Jones, because he hunts wild boars. I cannot accept that. I can't be subscribed to someone like that. I can't even, no matter what he says, I can't watch his news. So now that I know that. So if he had not talked about this publicly, I would not have known. Then I would have. But kind of glad he talked about it, because at least it gets it on the table now. And now I know for a fact that he's a total sociopath. I don't think he has any kind of decency at all. If anyone who hunts animals has absolutely no decency, it's not a decent person. Someone who kills an animal or who butchers an animal. There's no decency in it. So I know it's difficult when we have a carnivore lineage, particularly in our DNA. I'm not talking about tradition. You don't have to adhere to any tradition already. I'm totally untraditional. But I have it in my DNA. And that makes being vegan, completely vegan, very, very difficult for me. I've been through this now for decades. I have literally had nervous breakdowns and all of this because of the veganism. And I don't even want to talk about it, because I don't want people to think the wrong thing. That I don't want people to think, oh, I'm not even going to try that, if that's what happens. No, you have to try, okay? I keep trying, so you can keep trying too. But one thing is for fact, okay? Veganism, that's a very, very extreme on the other spectrum, and on the other end of the spectrum. We're not even talking about that right now. I'm talking about don't eat pigs anymore, okay? So that is my main imperative in this video. Don't eat pigs anymore. Just don't eat pigs anymore. Then you're already making things better. If you just listen to that advice, it will save your life. It will make your life better. It will make you feel better. Your heart will thank you for it, literally and metaphorically. Your heart will thank you for it. Your cells will thank you for that, because your cells don't want to hurt another being. Okay, so, and then if you master that and you want to take it another step further, quit eating cows. Quit eating hamburgers. Okay? Quit eating beef. Okay? Quit eating all of these things. Quit eating any living being, any animal. And to the Asian world, this is very important what I have to say to the Asian world. Quit eating dogs. Okay? Dogs are gods. They are family members. I know there's a lot of Asians that are completely in agreement with me, 100%. It's just unfortunate that there are still scumbags out there that are doing these horrific things. Okay, so anywhere on the planet, Okay, there are good people everywhere on this planet, and there are very rotten, asshole, psychopath people on this planet everywhere. Okay, so the message is very crystal clear. Okay, quit eating pigs and dogs. And then once you master all of that, once you are no longer eating any kind of mammal, then you can that you can move further out. You can stop eating chickens. Then you stop eating fish. You stop eating any living being. You don't even eat a sea cucumber. Okay, so then you're vegetarian. So then you have made it to an enormous plateau. Once you have made that, and I have made it to that, so I'm very grateful for that. I feel very accomplished about this. I'm a vegetarian. Okay. I want to be a vegan, but it's very difficult now. Now, this is a whole nother story. That's a whole nother video. I'm already 1 hour and 21 minutes long. This is a long video. I mean, I can make 10 more videos about this, about just the process from vegetarianism to veganism. Okay, a lot of people can't do it just because of their DNA. So it took me a long time to even become a complete vegetarian. And I'm doing it only for ethical reasons. I'm not doing this for my health. But the health is getting better as a positive, incidental side effect of it. Okay, so that's the good karma in it. So I still eat eggs, and I quit milk a long time ago. Helga Tackreiter talked me out of drinking milk, and I wasn't drinking very much milk. I was only putting it into my Pero coffee. But I was on the phone. I'm grateful. I talked to her for about 2 hours. I'm very grateful to you, Helga. I know you're very, very busy. Helga is one of the leading animal rights activists in the world. She has a cow sanctuary in New Jersey, and that's where a lot of factory farms are and a lot of cows that are exploited. And she rescues exploited cows, and they come to her sanctuary, and there they finally have a good life. And they never have to suffer again. Okay, they dance under the moonlight, she told me. Cows are amazing beings. Okay, absolutely amazing. That was an amazing conversation. I'm so grateful that I had this amazing conversation. It's like talking to Dostoevsky. So really great. So when we meet someone great, like Helga Tackreiter, we better be really grateful. When we have a president that is stellar, out of this world, we better be really, really grateful. Okay, so that's my message to the world. All of this. Blue God agrees. 1122. That's the truth. What I'm saying to you. Okay, it rhymes. My beautiful Moo. I always say that to the baby dog. And Moo actually is the nickname for cow. So, yeah, she talked me out of milk, and it was just so clear. I mean, I'm like, yeah, dang, you're right. I can't drink that stuff anymore. I just can't do it. Just can't. No, I wasn't putting up any kind of fight at all. I mean, it's just inside of my head. It was like, dang. Yeah. how can I even drink a teaspoon of this stuff? It's just not an option anymore. But I'm as radically honest as I am to everyone. Once in a while, Paul buys yogurt, and then I eat a little bit yogurt. So, and I shouldn't, because also a milk product, obviously. We can eat yogurt that's vegan yogurt. Okay, I don't even know where to buy it here in this neighborhood, in this rural region here. These people are stuffed full of milk and pigs and cows. It's a disgrace, really. And then they wonder why they get sick at an early age, and they have to have bypass surgery at age 40 and stuff like that. I mean, it's like what Dr. Richard Schultz said. Stop doing what makes you sick, okay, and start doing what makes you well. It's very simple, really, very, very simple. This is not political. This is not social groups versus social groups. This is not, oh, you're one of those, one of them. You're a group. No, I'm not. This is not a group. I would be so happy if this was like a cult or group that I can go to, that I can drink vegan milkshakes with, and say a prayer to the tree or something. I'd be so grateful if that was the case. No, that's not the case, okay? It isn't the case. We indigos and star children and stardust babies, okay, we live very sporadically diaspored, sport across the whole planet, and we come in all ethnic groups, and we don't even know about each other, okay, unless someone is famous, like Ingrid Newkirk or Helga Tackreiter, okay, or Captain Paul Watson or Wayne Purcell. Okay, so someone or Ron DeSantis. Can you not do this the sound, please? It drives me nuts, that sound. Hearing aid sound. God, why can't they make hearing aids that don't squeal? Really. So we are sporadically scattered across the planet. We kind-hearted people. We don't even know each other. We live in communities where we are the outcast. We don't do this for friendship purposes, because it is, if anything, we do it, we get casted out, we have no friends, okay? So, but we do it anyway, and you know why? Because we care. That's why. That's the simple reason. We care. And that's why we do what we do. That's why we have to do what we have to do. That's why we want to become vegan. That's why we are vegetarians. Okay. And anyone out there, all the animal rights activists out there, I know that most of them are not full vegans. I know that. How do I know that? They don't talk about it, of course, because they want to promote veganism. I talk about it because I want to make people understand this subject, okay? That it is not so easy, okay? So it's not as easy as, oh, just become a vegan like this. No, obviously. It takes a little bit of a transition towards, okay? So maybe even 2 decades. But you have to make an effort in that direction. You do. The very first thing is quit eating pigs, okay? And the Asian people quit eating dogs. Quit eating dogs and cats and any animal, okay? Quit eating all animals. Don't eat animals anymore, okay? So very first step, So, very first step. Of course, there's a scale among the animals. Of course, a fish is not like a dog. Of course. So, if you can't quit fish, that's perfectly fine. Okay. So, but stay on that trajectory, and eventually, maybe, hopefully, you will quit eating fishies too. Okay. So, and that whole business is also ugly. Okay. So, it's not good. They're taking fishes away from the whales. That's not good. Okay, the whales are mammals. They're more evolved than we are. They need to feed their babies. Okay, they need to have energy to swim. They need to have strength and power and health. They need to eat. Okay, so the entire fishing industry needs to be shut down. The sooner the better. Okay, so I quit eating all of these things, and that's a fact. But I wanna be totally honest with you. I still, once in a while, I might eat a little piece of cheese, maybe, or I might eat a little bit of yogurt, or I eat a cheesecake or something like this. It's very, very difficult to quit that. Very, very difficult, and everyone knows that. So don't come after me if I'm not the complete radical vegan. If I was a complete radical vegan, I would not be overweight. I would be I'd be skin and bones. I would be making commercials for as a photo model for old geriatric homes. I mean, I'd be like this here. No, I mean, I don't want that, and I like being overweight. I actually like being overweight. I know there are some people that say that, but don't, they only say that to kid themselves. I really, really mean it. I like being overweight. So I don't want to be obese. I'm not obese, but I'm overweight. But I like it. So the way I am right now is perfectly fine for me. It's already too much for my health. I know that. It's a little over the line, but health-wise, we should be having an ideal weight, and we shouldn't have a whole bunch of fat. But I like it like this, and I keep it like this, and it's gonna be it'd be very, very difficult to quit cookies and cake and yogurt or whatever, once in a while sour cream or something like this. That'd be very, very, very difficult. Very difficult. And regarding turkey sandwich, turkey hot dogs, I have eaten, the last one I ate was about 2 months ago or something. It didn't even taste good anymore, so I'm completely through with this. So I'm glad for that. Okay, so, and I felt bad every time I ate one. So I don't want to eat it anymore. Not even the turkey, not even the chicken. And last time I ate a chicken was I think it was about 6 weeks ago or so, and I didn't like the taste anymore. So I'm completely through with it. Done with all animals, and I don't like fish either anymore. I don't like it. I don't want it anymore. So, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I can stick with that and not eat fish anymore. Like fish sticks. If I eat it, it will be like twice a year or something. But I don't want to do it anymore. I really don't want to do this anymore. So, okay. So that's it. I talked too much, and I talked way, way, way more than I should have talked. But there is a plant for every single problem in the world. And Camellia japonica heals bladder infection. So applied directly to the skin, and also make juice out of it, and also make a tea out of it. So peace and love for all living beings.